What's up, guys? Welcome into another edition of Bogey Free, being brought to you by the FTN Network, obviously, specifically FTN Bets and FTN Daily. I'm your host, Matt Jones. You can find me on Twitter at MattJonesTFR, and I am being joined tonight by Bryan. You probably know him as Axis. You can find him on Twitter at Axis_DFS. What's up, man? How's it going?
Pretty good, first full field event. Pretty excited for it. So last week was a nice taste, Cam Smith winner. Not too much to complain about last week. So try to do it again this week.
Yeah, you had a good week. I know people in the Discord also did quite well over the weekend on showdown slates as well. So
how about the showdown? That was also nice.
Yeah. I mean, you're winning in so many different places that you can't even keep track anymore.
Yeah, for 1 week. Yeah, 1 week.
Hey,
1 week at a time, right?
Yeah. So make sure, obviously, if you're listening to this or watching this and you are not already subscribed, make sure that you head over and check it out. We have some good conversations in the Discord, and honestly, it's not just us and Alex and Javi and Kyle, whoever else is in there. Just the subs in general, just know what they're talking about, and we have good conversations throughout the tournament. So, like I said, make sure you head over to FTN Daily and get signed up for that if DFS is your deal. Speaking of which, we can jump right in to the course, and then I'll talk about some of my optimal guys. Didn't update that part of the sheet. We are at YLI this week. Little different, going from a par 73 to a par 70. What's anything in particular that sort of jumps out to you from years past with YLI?
It's a relatively easy course to par, unless it's been windy before. In fact, I believe last year it was like a slop fest, if I'm remembering correctly, that Cam Smith won. But in general, it's relatively easy scoring to par. It is, it's short on the card, but there's actually quite a few mid irons that'll be hit here. It's not all played 150 yards and in, surprisingly enough. And it's hard to run away from the field here. If you're looking at just in general strokes gained totals of the winners, like they're not beating, well, JT has before here and Jimmy Walker, but in general, the upper three guys on the leaderboard aren't exactly running away with this event. It's a course that kind of funnels everybody to play it somewhat similarly. Like the lines are going to be, they're just how it is, right? Like there's not a lot of place to bomb it. So it really just narrows everything down. So you really just got to be on your game here. As basic as that sounds, like it's just show up, play well, right? Easy game.
Yeah, I mean, when you have elite talents like Justin Thomas and Jimmy Walker, they're just going to run away with things.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Jimmy Walker and whoever else has won at this. Kuchar's won here. Kazire, JT's like the standout name, right? Going back to the list. I guess you can put Smith up there now. I mean, he's been on a hell of a run since winning that. But yeah, Russell Henley won here way back when. Jimmy Walker won it twice in a row too. One of those was the one who was by 7 strokes. So that's very difficult to do here. So that's a hell of a win for Mr. Walker back before he forgot how to golf.
But it's interesting. I don't know where I saw it today. Somebody was talking about the these like winning margin bets. Do you ever? This is totally random, but do you ever dabble in those, or is that just a little? It's pretty weird. I can't imagine really feeling particularly strongly that you have an edge in a market like that. But I don't know if you ever.
I've never looked. Feel that way. I probably could look because I do run sims. But then I'm getting into like, okay, not only am I already trusting. I'm already baking in an error factor to the simulations in my model. Now, am I really going to have to bake more error into like the actual scores rather than just looking at, okay, this guy wins this often, beats them.
Right.
Like I don't know. It seems like a hot mess to me.
Yeah. Pretty granular at that point.
I guess if you really This wouldn't be the course I would do it at. If I was going to do it at a course, yeah, I don't think it would be this one. I would not do that at like a harbor town. That one always pops up as well, where it's hard to differentiate yourself from the field most years. So yeah, this wouldn't be the week that I would do it if I was going to. I mean, I feel like that would just be like all right, I already bet Cam Smith, let's say at 18-1 last week. You know, there's no European tour, there's no LPGA going on. Maybe this money's burning a hole in my account. I don't really care about my bankroll management. I just want to have fun. Maybe I'll put a little extra on Cam Smith to win by 2. I don't know, 3. Honestly, I've never looked at it, but probably won't, to be honest.
I don't like I said, I don't know where I saw it. I don't know if it was Twitter or somebody in.
I think Feinberg runs. So Feinberg hit on Hovland actually in the fall on this by like 3 strokes or something.
Mhm.
I've heard him mention it before too, and he says the same thing. It's more or less like, look, I'm rolling the dice on someone just to get a little bit better number. And maybe someone like Hovland, who's more elite golfer, like there's not a ton in the field who I would trust to win this by more than 2-3 strokes. So
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. Just figured I'd throw that out there because I saw that and I knew you weren't in that conversation, and I wanted to hear your thoughts on it. So, all right, let's head into some more DFS chat before we talk about some of the bets that you loaded up in your article this week. All the way at the top, I have Cam Smith in 40% of the optimal lineups. That's a lot. So like I said 30 was a lot last week, and that was in a small field, and this is bordering on absurd. I don't remember seeing a 40% in the past personally for this.
It seems high. I mean, I used to run optimals. I haven't done it recently as far as like you're saying, simulating lineups with salary, seeing who shows up the most, as I assume is what you're doing there.
Yep.
I don't really do it too much because I'm more of a single entry 3 max anyway. So it was taking a lot of time to run those because I'm not the most efficient coder. So I'd hit start and it would run. But anyway, I never saw 40% either. I did make him the favorite this week by a wide margin, which probably wouldn't shock you if you listened to me talk about Cam Smith last week. I already had him 13-1 last week in that field, and then you bring him over here, and then Bryson drops out. I don't know where the win equity mainly just kind of stayed with him when I chopped Bryson. So yeah, I guess the 40% and honestly, it might not be a bad week if you can find enough. Like it's the 11.2K, that's the killer, right? Like if you can find enough though at the bottom, people don't like to chase winners. There's this thing that they won last week. They can't, like, back-to-back winners aren't common. Well, winning's not common in golf, so I doubt. For most golfers, I doubt there's a correlation to winning the week before and then winning the next week, because Tiger Woods would do it all the time, but that's because he was really great, right? So he won at other clips at a highly irregular rate. So I don't have a problem with going back to Cam Smith this week in pretty much anything if you think you got the edge. I don't know. It'll be an interesting dynamic with him and his ownership being the highest priced, at least, and at above 11K. Like, I'm actually kind of curious. I don't think I will get there. Maybe he might be more of a showdown guy. And maybe people will be more comfortable playing there. I'm not sure, but I don't mind going back to him at all.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's hard for people to wrap their head around playing somebody 2 weeks in a row that had just won. But I'm trying to find. I wrote up for RotoViz like probably 2 years ago. I don't think I'm going to be able to find it in time without completely derailing everything. But I did. All right. So basically what I found was that because of the price increase and because of this narrative around like it's so difficult to win 2 weeks in a row, we actually see like an ownership drop, which accounts for the fact that they maybe probably won't win again. But because you're getting a little bit of an ownership drop, it actually like kind of balances out to the point where, you know, Cam Smith is obviously an exceptional golfer. I have him like almost like 0.2 of a stroke per round better than anybody else in the field right now. And so
My
all of
gap is
that,
larger. So
yeah, but that's what I mean, right? Like all of that combined means that like his range is still well up there. And if you're going to tell me that I might be able to get a slightly less owned Cam Smith than less owned than he should be, then sure, then sign me up.
right.
Even though he's 11.2, and that scares people off too. People don't like paying top price for golfers. So all of that sort of goes back to the fact that he for sure could win this tournament again. Yes, it's a different course, but is there really a course that Cam Smith like couldn't
He won here last year, right?
perform
Or
well
2
at?
years ago. Sorry, 2020. Yeah, I keep forgetting it's 2022. My bad.
No, but you know what I mean? Like there's not
Yeah.
really a lot of places where you'd be like, no, I don't think Cam Smith, like a game Cam Smith could win here. Like that's
And
not
not
a course
anymore.
that exists.
Yeah, not anymore. Used to maybe think that, but even last week I watched a lot of that golf. And again, you never know what players are trying to do. I don't know exactly what Rahm's game plan is, or Cam Smith, or anybody, but like that
Right.
final round, he was driving the ball with Rahm. Like it wasn't. I don't know if he added distance in the offseason or if it's going to carry over. This will not be the week probably to see that, but it'll be interesting to watch and see if he can continue to do that off the tee and gain more strokes there.
Right.
That's going to go a long way considering he was a lot of short game prior. So
yeah, for sure. Which, historically we haven't really liked to rely on that too much. So the fact that everything is coming together for him now and the short game is still there is a good sign.
right.
As far as a couple of cheaper guys, I wrote up in the volatility report. I wrote up Kokrak, Matt Jones, no relation, and who was it? Cam Davis. So if you mix up, 2 out of those 3 guys, you don't change the average salary remaining. And I think Kokrak obviously didn't play particularly well last week. But the other 2 guys did, and you can sort of mix and match without really costing yourself much, and you can still play Cam and then just go cheap with your remaining spots. So those are kind of like the mid-tier guys that I sort of was interested in. Who do you have any guys like a little bit deeper in the salary that you're interested in?
It gets a little ugly down there, right? We've seen a lot of withdrawals. This Sony doesn't normally get a super strong field. I really don't have anything set yet that feels super comfortable. However, I will probably look heavily at Hayden Buckley. He's coming to the tour from the Korn Ferry Tour. Had a very strong end to the Korn Ferry Tour, played very well in the last 3 events in the Korn Ferry Tour final. T4 and a T7. He did mix a missed cut in there, but then he came to the fall swing, made 3 out of the 4 cuts he played in. 2 of those were top 5s, strong off the tee, which here, just keep it in play. He's not like pounding the ball, but he's pretty accurate as well. We don't have a ton of strokes gain data, but the irons were good throughout the fall. I feel like it's a little bit of a chance because, again, we have strokes gain total for him for his career here, but there's just not a lot of strokes gained statistics, though. So I think that's he's worth a potential look, especially if you're playing multiple lineup 6,700. Alex Smalley, kind of in the same boat. He's $7,000. I think that's someone who, if you're not familiar with, perhaps you should look into him as well. And it's a similar story. You're going to start seeing these faces from the guys who have got their card for the first time. He's been on quite the rise here. He played a little bit on the Latin American tour, then the Canadian tour, went right into the KFT final last year, went 48th, 4th, 15th. He hopped right into the fall swing as well, made 4 out of 6 cuts, a couple T20s. So, again, the downside is we don't have a ton of data. So like I'm trying to profile these guys off X amount of events. Whereas Wiley is a little different. So I don't know, but it seems safe. And again, really you can just go all out off the strokes gain total too. So those are 2 7K, 6-7 guys that I think are definitely worth a look and might not be names you are overly familiar with yet. Like there's a ton of names down there. You may be familiar with too. It just feels kind of gross sometimes. I don't know. Those are the 2 that probably stuck out the most, though, to do a little of your own research, as they say.
Yeah, that sounds good. Buckley actually popped a little bit, like a small edge in like top 30, top 40-ish type markets for me. So I was looking at him as well. Not that I'm, I'm not like going crazy on him or anything, but it was interesting that I showed an edge on him. Now that I have some of that Korn Ferry data in the model, I'll actually be able to figure this stuff out before everybody else does.
Yeah, it's helpful. Hopefully. I spent the long 3 weeks off of golf. Just I don't normally follow KFT too much during the year, so I normally wait till the end of the year and then just kind of scrape it all for the new guys.
Yeah.
You can't bet on KFT in Michigan, so I stopped. And I don't know, and it's not on TV. It was just really hard which is odd because I watch every. I don't know. I scraped it all too. So
if only there was like a channel,
weird,
like for golf, like you could even call it the Golf Channel, and
if
you
only
could
the
like
PGA Tour stopped showing Bernard Langer beating all the other senior citizens and showed their up and coming talent. You could get familiar with them. Like, what does that tell you about your tour? I'm about to rant. I mean, Bernard Langer is and he's good at golf, but like he is just continuing to just melt people's souls. Phil doesn't do anything on the PGA Tour, gets in, starts winning. Alex Cheka comes in, wins 2 majors, skips another major to go play in Europe instead. Like, what is this tour doing? I get it off of my television. I do not care. Make that the streaming and get me these young kids. Get them in front of our faces before they even get to the tour and rant. My God, like, the Champions Tour can die.
Can't figure out why people don't know the young whippersnappers' names. I think we just solved the mystery.
I'm sorry, and I'm sure plenty of people enjoy the Champions Tour. Obviously, that's why it's on TV, right? I'm not stupid. I get it. It's annoying to me, and I don't understand it. Like a lot of sports do this too. They're just like market your stars, market your future. Like these guys aren't even on your main tour anymore. It's not like the NHL would continue to prop up, your stars until they retire. Or the NFL even, like these guys aren't on the main tour. Like just I don't know. Whatever. That's why I'm not in marketing, I guess.
Yeah, no, it's definitely. I mean, everybody has their. I feel like everybody has all their PGA / Golf Channel complaints loaded up in their drafts, and everybody just sends it out every week. I'm trying to avoid doing that as much this year, but they just make it impossible sometimes.
Right. And they do some good stuff too. And I know that's not all on Golf Channel. Like I'm sure the PGA Tour has to like you got to form a deal somewhere. Obviously, neither of them really want it on TV all that badly. But hey, I wish it was. I'd probably be a little more into it. So
all right, so we got some good DFS chat in there. Let's transition over to the matchup and group bets. I mentioned the FTN Daily Discord earlier. We also have obviously the FTN Bets Discord, where Axis is always in there. You dabbled in some live betting, live hole betting this week as well. So the people were thrilled.
That is not a weekly thing. it works well, especially for the timing of the Hawaiian events and the West Coast, perhaps. I don't know if I'll be live betting at 7 a.m. for the East Coast. You never know. And honestly, the books picked up pretty quick. And the next 2, 3, and 4, they didn't really offer all that much at all. So
Yeah.
it was fun for the first round. We made some money. It was pretty wild. I think we got like 20 some bets in on guys making birdies, tying holes. Victor Hovland was the man of the hour, won a few plus 500 birdie bets. Like it was fun. I enjoyed it. I whipped up a very, very basic, I won't even call it a model, just a very basic guide on what I roughly thought lines should be for some of it.
Yeah.
And it was fun because it was all the featured coverage groups. So like if they give us an opportunity here at Wiley, it'll probably just be in round 1 until maybe they figure it out. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see if we whip something up again though.
Yeah, that was fun to follow along. It was and then Josh had all these live tennis bets on like
Yeah.
literal down to like the match and the set, like literal the smallest unit of betting that you could possibly do for tennis last night. That was pretty funny also.
Yeah, I was trying to follow and I was like, oh, I can't do this at the same time that I'm trying to do this. So I missed the tennis stuff. I saw all the alerts. I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
Like
All of a
Josh
sudden they just
crushes
kept
tennis, obviously. So
yeah.
check that out while you're at it.
All of a sudden I just saw all these alerts pouring in. I was like, what is going on? And then I noticed that it was like actually like portions of each match. So that was funny. All right, so let's get to a couple of these. You have a group bet and a matchup. You're looking at Top Englishman over at FanDuel to start. What do we got there?
Yeah, so again, we talked about this last week. The show's at 8:30. The markets come out overnight Monday normally. Like, I apologize that we're giving some of these lines are just stale. Like, I wouldn't bet it anymore, unfortunately. He is down to plus 120. I took Aaron Ray plus 160, Top Englishman. I always say Ray. I honestly can never remember if it's Ray or Rye, which is terrible because I follow the European Tour quite a bit. It's like the Dom and Damon. I use whatever I feel that day. I should probably nail it one of these days, though. He's going up against David Skins, Callum Tarrant, and Luke Donald. Luke Donald, obviously, he's just dust now. That's all I really need to say about Luke Donald.
Yeah.
Tarrant is up and coming. He crushes the ball at the tee. That's his biggest thing. He's kind of a one-trick pony at this point in his career. He could figure that out. Maybe this week is not the best for him. Hasn't made a cut yet on tour. A short fall swing for him. But David Skins might be the one I was most concerned about. Showed the most consistency, especially in the fall swing. But I still just made Aaron Rye much bigger favorite than the plus 160 they were giving. I'm pretty much at the market on this. I don't think I would bet it at plus 120. I'd have to check the exact number. I made it. But, Aaron's won 4 times on the European Tour. We've seen him win and play well on similar style courses. I won't say these are exactly the same as he's won, but, a little tighter, shorter. He's going to play from the fairway a lot. Irons are fine. Hopefully he can roll them in and we should be good to go. But I did really like that as a prop. I don't think enough people kind of peruse all the tabs that they give you on these books. And unfortunately, that's probably why they moved too. It doesn't take a lot probably to move. I'm sure they're not taking all that much action on Top English Player. I did not look if DraftKings is offering this. They do offer nationality props from time to time.
Yeah, they have 120 maybe also.
Oh, all right. Well,
I'm on it now.
You do. I guess that's why you subscribe, right?
Exactly.
I put the alert in Discord. It's in the bet tracker. The time I put it in is all timestamped. So I hate being that guy, but that's part of what this is, right? So yeah, that's the prop I like quite a bit this week.
Yeah. Any thoughts on if you're obviously in on him a little bit? They have DraftKings has him at plus 500 for Top European. The only guy with shorter odds is Seamus at plus 350.
Yeah, he was plus 850 this morning. So I didn't hit that.
Yeah,
it wasn't as big of an edge at the 850. wasn't quite there for me to pull it, but the top
Gotcha.
so that one's moving too. So I guess he might just be a little popular this week.
Yeah, I mean, once you get the access seal of approval, then all
Yeah,
these
I'm
all these
sure.
numbers start moving.
I'm sure his outright's still the same. So
Yeah, I hit that too. I was very with you on that. All right, let's switch over to matchup. You have Harris English against good old Chucky Three Sticks. What are you thinking here?
this is basically just feels like an anti-course history bet. I know Charles Howell III has played very, very well at this course. I'm sure somebody has the statistic in front of them for his constant top 20s here or made cuts or both. I
Yep.
don't remember exactly what it's for. He plays wildly well here. I, I don't bake in as much course history, obviously, as the market probably would be my best guess as to the biggest difference on this line. But I picked it up at -110 at BetMGM. I believe this one is still there. At least when I last polled before the show. So, yeah, it's just I think I made Harris closer to -124. So, not like a massive edge by any means, but enough to pull the trigger. I liked what I saw last week. Obviously, Harris English was up and down, but whatever. He showed up. This course might be a little more suited to him.
Yeah.
I don't know. Charles Howell's getting up there. We see decline with age, although that's changing a little bit. I don't really have too much of an age curve in the model, but it's hard to say without it. But I just thought it was. I think he's getting a lot of respect, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this is just the course where the course history seems to matter, or obviously something clicks here for Charles Howell III. But I am assuming that's why I'm so different than the market on this particular wager, but I'll run with who I think is just a much better golfer right now at this point in both of their careers.
Yeah, at that number, it's kind of hard not to like English, and I'm just thrilled. This is your second week on, and you're already bashing course history. So I think my job here is done already.
It's I've never been necessarily anti. I definitely do not bake it in as much as others. And I don't think I bake it in as much as the market in general. There are some courses I turn it up, some I ignore it completely. It's just really hard, right? Obviously, we know we don't need to get into the giant debate, but sample size, yada, yada, yada. I'm sure it means potentially something if you have these giant numbers. I'm sure maybe if you had a large enough sample, you could infer what it could be boost wise per stroke. Maybe people with better statistical background and math can do that better than I can. So I try to stay in my lane. I think it could be important. It's kind of like green surface to me, Bermuda, POA. Like you hear these golfers talk about it. So there has to be something to comfortability at a course. How I bake that into a model is a whole nother thing. If I feel like I don't know how necessarily, I normally choose to ignore it. And then I will manually make a bump to my number for that. Like you hear golfers all the time, like I'm just way more comfortable on Bermuda, even though their numbers are not better. But enough guys say it, right? And you can see in certain golfers, like this guy just putts so much better on this surface. So maybe it doesn't affect the whole field. Maybe I just have to adjust this guy. Maybe that course is here for Charles Howell III, and I'm just the idiot not adjusting enough. Maybe this is truly where Corey Connors knows how to putt, and this is the only place on the planet, right? Well, I'm probably going to miss that boat too this week if that happens. So.
Yeah, I think it's most likely one of those things where the absolute extreme tails probably matter, and there's just not enough. There's just not enough there for me to spend too much time putting it in. And like for DFS purposes, it bumps ownership, and sometimes to a point where I just am not comfortable playing certain guys. And then in the betting markets, if if it's baked in and the number gets too short, then I'm not going to want to bet that either. So there's just no reason for me to really
Right.
like go too hard out after it. And, like you say, we have 40 weeks or whatever it is, probably more than that. If I
Yeah.
miss out on like, a half dozen guys throughout the course of the year because of that, I'll be all right.
Yeah, that's more or less how I feel. Obviously, you get to places like Augusta. Sure, I bump up, I make larger adjustments, mainly to guys who have just played there, not even necessarily played well. I feel like just seeing a course in general is almost probably, again, I could be way off in this. I'm not a professional golfer, and surprisingly enough, not a lot of them speak that much about this topic. But I feel like just the more and more you see it, more and more notes, especially now with the green reading books, you can't have computer generated green reading books. Maybe playing it 3-4 years, you get enough notes like, oh, I've never been over here before. It's my third time playing here, but I don't know. There's just a lot of variables in golf. That's why I love it. It's a beautiful puzzle. And there's a lot of different ways you could try to fit it together, right? So again, I model what I think I can, what I think I know matters. And that's when I can go make, those manual tweaks. That's why sometimes you'll see not so much on matchups, but on outrights, I'll bet guys who are closer to just no EV or negative EV on some outrights. Just you got to get a little lucky there. Anyway, that's probably about as Deegan as I get for golf betting. You'll see it like I made Aaron Rye. I think I made him about 102 this week, and I still bet him at 8. Like I was going to bet him here pretty well, no matter what, unless it was just something stupid. But that's just my little manual tweak to the number, and I go from there. So,
yeah,
I try not to do it often.
All right, let's wrap up here with a finish position bet from you. I am also on this in a couple markets. So again, just loving the confirmation bias. What do you got here for Maverick for us?
Yeah, so Mav McNeely plus 220 on DraftKings. Once again, terrible show host. I probably should have confirmed whether that was still there before the show. Those don't tend to move as much, so live and learn. I'll confirm that next time. I believe it was
210 on FanDuel right now. So,
yeah, I think FanDuel was 210, so that's why I took it at DraftKings 220. I don't know. It was just, excuse me, Mav was just kind of a numbers game for me. He was, I think he's doing a top 5 in my numbers, I believe. Even for outright, he looked pretty solid this week. For where he opened up, his game changed enough over last year. Hopefully this can continue. He used to be all putter. And that's obviously a problem on the PGA Tour. His irons seemed to get much more consistent last year. The distance plus accuracy was greatly improved. In fact, he was above accuracy than the field a lot, and distance. So started gaining quite a bit off the tee. I say quite a bit, especially for where it came from, but very consistently, right? The ball striking became more consistent. You give that to someone who is already a really good putter, and good things could hopefully happen. We're still waiting for that win. He had a second place last year. Pebble Beach, another short track. I don't want to say they're super similar, but he ended the year with quite a bit top 20s, which doesn't directly get factored in finishing position anyway. But then took it to the fall swing too, right? Played Houston Open, Mayakoba, Zozo, T25, T11, T19. Had a second this fall also at the Fortinet Championship to Max Homa. All in all, the play is just there. He just became a much more consistent golfer last year, and that's pretty well to the ball striking, right? We just don't. It's hard for the guys who rely heavily on putting to just consistently do well. They can do well. It's just normally not as consistent. So hopefully, he had 9 top 20s last year. Hopefully he can start the year off with another one.
Yeah, and on DraftKings, it's still there at 220. So either way, whether you're on DK or FanDuel, you're right there in the same neighborhood. So those are both good. And like I said, I'm on him on a few finished positions, including an outright. So we'll see how that goes. I'm sure that'll That'll go well. Um, but yeah, like we've been mentioning, make sure that you are following both of us on Twitter at Matt Jones TFR and at Axis_DFS. Make sure that you give us a shot over at either FTN Daily or FTN Bets. Hop in the Discord. And throughout the week, make sure that you check out the Showdown content. Axis and I are our tag team in that this year as well. So, like I said, make sure you get in on that, and hopefully we can continue to hit some winners this week, Axis.
Yeah, and real quick before we sign off, we are going to be having the I talked to Kyle this morning, and we should have the showdown up in the FTN optimizer as well. So if you are a multi-lineup builder, you want to use showdown projections, I will be loading those in tomorrow, and that is just another wonderful tool. So again, head on over to ftndaily.com. If you're not a subscriber, you can sign up, use code AXIS, and what's your code, Matt? If you want to give that a shout out as well. Pick and choose, flip a coin. You don't care whose code you use, just sign up.
Yeah. I think Bogey free gets you something there too. Whichever, just come in, hang out, and we'll hopefully hit the top of some leaderboards, hit some winners, and go from there.
Absolutely.
All right, man. Good chat, and we'll talk soon. See you guys.